My name's Zavai. I'm a seven-figure pay-per lead agency owner, and so you don't guys know that I'm not bullshitting. I'm just gonna refresh my screen. Spent around 75 on one of our accounts the last 30 days. I'm gonna refresh it again, and also I'm not AI as you can see. And specifically, right in the next 10 minutes, I'll show you why you've been wasting your potential and existence in the retainer, e-com, or whatever model you're doing um currently, because essentially, right, you do feel like a glorified employee, right? You have business owners, local business owners, who blame you because their sales infrastructure is bullshit, right? They treat you like employees and you can't do shit about it because 2 grand a month still means something, right? You have people to pay. But the best part is, right, that you've never really made that decision to go to a different target segment, working with corporate giants that actually sell leads to them for $30 to $40, and generate them for $10 to $20 and repeat it a few thousand times without having any client facing meetings. I personally haven't had any client facing meetings the last 10 days. And I'm not even kidding, right? They will just communicate with you by email. And look, you're probably doubtful that this isn't just another guru model, but I promise you, by the end of this video, right after you've taken into account how HomeBuddy scaled to $150 million with the most retarded looking ads on the whole planet. Like, let me just quickly show you what kind of ads they run. Right, they have 800 ads live. It's $150 million company, and they run ads like that, and they're able to scale to that amount. And if you have better media buying skills than them, you should probably be able to do the same, right? And we're also going to be discussing specifically why the economics of lead gen and pay per lead makes it so structurally unfair to any other business model out there currently on the market. And that's not just me as an autistic Chinese person saying, right? It's proven by data, because the companies, 9 out of 10 companies that are marketing companies listed on the NASDAQ, are pay-per-lead companies. And I made 2 videos breaking them down in depth so you can watch it as well, right? But essentially what we're looking at, look at this beautiful PowerPoint presentation by Claude, is that how HomeBuddy, like, they sold for $190 million for one of the largest exits in whole of marketing, right? You think about it. This shit ain't a retainer. This shit pay per lead. So specifically, what they essentially do is they are selling data and leads, and they are a platform that has gained a lot of trust by the consumer. And they're arbitraging that consumer trust, right? And their media buying skills, which is actually terrible, like I've shown you, which we'll go further into today, because if you're watching this video, I'm sure you're not like some, like, you don't need that fucking clickbait dopamine type shit. We're going in depth, educational, so you will be understanding this on a professor grade. Now, specifically, they made 141 million in the last 12 months, of which they have a 21% margin, right? And that's elite level for a business at this scale. To put it into perspective, there are some better businesses out there, right? Other comparison sites, like the one that listed on the Nasdaq is Lending Tree, 1.2 billion dollars at a I think 30% or 25% margin. Elite. There's no other marketing structure on this planet that can even achieve that profitability, because who the fuck cares about revenue? We're here all for the profit. Now, specifically, I'm gonna also be making another video of a cracked guy who scaled his pay-per-lead agency to $50 million, probably around like 30-40 in profit per year in 5 years. Okay. And that's with a team of less than 30 people or 20 people. And I will probably also show you the proof, but let's first dive into what paper lead is actually about, because they built their brand in 2.5 years. They have 6 million monthly visitors, 2,000 active buyers in multiple verticals. Think about bathroom, like roofing, all of this home renovation and improvement they've been doing. And specifically, they're selling data and outcomes and exits in a way that other service based businesses can't, because they're not selling a service, they're selling customer information. They're selling leads, right, to established corporate roofing businesses spending 2,500,000 to 5 million in advertising spend that already scaled to this infrastructure level because they have established sales systems, they have SOPs, they have everything in place, and the only thing they do not have is a cracked in-house media buyer, which is why they're buying leads from you. Now, specifically, in turn, if you're selling 2 to 3 month retainers, I understand. That's how I started out and scaled to 4 clients, working like a dog, right? And I just like have ultimate respect for anybody who scales past 10, 50 clients in this model. But specifically, you want to need more headcount for every dollar that you put in, right? Because it's service based. You need to figure out a lot of their stuff. In a SaaS business, okay, like obviously you can reach enterprise value with SaaS businesses, but pay per lead is untapped if you're not a marketing like a software wizard, right? Because SaaS essentially is insanely difficult to break in. You need all of this capital to build yourself up. Now, specifically, right, it is really difficult to sell for a premium multiple because you yourself are essentially the key talent in the retainer based agency. If you leave, bro, can it really survive? Will you be able to sell the business for seven or 8 figures? And for some of you who want to scale to 9 figures, this is delusional, right? Pay per lead is the only way to do that because you're not selling a service, you're building system architecture to sell leads, to sell outcomes at scale. Now, specifically, how it essentially works is you generate demand, right? And how you generate demand is either through meta ads, right? You have Google ads, Bing ads, YouTube ads, Quora ads, and now ChatGPT ads that's coming out, and all of this LLM, anything, right? Emails, you roofing leads, you can get email leads for like $15 and sell them for $150 because roofing is a very high ticket service depending on the quality of the roof as well, right? You capture the lead. I'm going to show you how HomeBuddy specifically captures the lead, but here specifically you can see they funnel you on this page, right? That looks like retardedly simple, but it works like a charm because they've built in brand recognition. And all you need to do is choose like the service, enter like a random zip code, and it funnels you to a conditional funnel. What I mean by that is based on what you click on this funnel, right? And which services you need and what qualifications you have in terms of financials, right? Or any other things, they will route you to the specific buyer that is interested in you. And how it works is that all of this information is collected in a CRM system, right? So think of it as the brain of the business. All of this data based on what you click is written down, and based on like what you've written down, right? Like in school, like a grade report with like A, B, C, D, E's, right? That based on your essentially grades or qualifications in this case, you get sent to a buyer who wants you, right? So let's go back to the beautiful McKinsey style presentation because essentially we are selling intent, right? We're screening out the junk as well. So if you click on the wrong button, let's say like under $10,000 budget, right? And you're not like qualified to get a roof specifically, then you will get filtered out, right? You will not become a lead, and that data will not be sold to the interested buyer. And it is really that simple. You generate them, right, for $10 and you sell them for 20 and you make that sweet margin. And how good of a media buyer you are right, has a direct effect of how large your margin is. Because if you can get leads at $5 and sell for 20, you're going to be printing. And that's why the most autistic media buyers on the planet, right, they're all in paper lead. I will tell you, I've talked to a guy who spends $200,000 a day on ads, and he's autistic, right? Because why not? And he runs ads also in my vertical. There's something that nobody ever has ever told you on the internet about media buying. He's not testing out all of his ads, right? He's also testing out 500 to 1,000 different hooks, and he singles out the hooks to scale them up into single ads that have a 9% click-through rate, which means out of 100, 9 people click, which is insanely good for an advertisement. It is like elite level standard, like S tier. Now, specifically, right, this is the whole business in itself. It's quite simple. The data and the tech and the infrastructure is not simple, right? And I'm on the only channel in this world explaining to you like you're an idiot, with respect, because I know, like, going into a topic, right, it is always good to explain a topic like your audience. Oh my god, I just called my audience idiots. I have actually no idea what I'm doing. Anyways, each hand off in the affiliate network adds a layer of margin, right? Specifically, affiliates generated for $18, and then they get the margin for $7. Affiliates like me, you, right, media buyers, we sell them to Homebuddy, who is the aggregator who compiles all of this data and has a buyer relationship. Buyers trust them because they've built up a name for themselves, right? Buyers like 500 roofers across the country and a bunch of other service-based businesses in the specific vertical of home improvement that have very, very high ticket items. They pay $35 and they make the margin here. Super simple. Screenshot it if you want to understand it a bit more. Now, specifically, every lead is sorted and routed and actioned, right? If you haven't understood what I meant specifically by which buttons they click, stop this video and try to like really get to it, because it's not really hard. Based on which buttons they click, they like it gets classified as a buyer, like a lead who wants windows, and that window lead gets sold to a window company. And that, like, on the back end, they probably get like 3 grand of profit and 7 grand in revenue of a window replacement, right, depending on how big the project is. Now, specifically, if you're a bit more advanced, right, you can also like understand this auction principle, because as we're buying like the paintings like Mona Lisa, obviously not, because like, no, you cannot buy it, like these stupid, like abstract paintings, 40, 50, 30 million. Okay, that guy bid 50 million, we're gonna sell it to that guy. The same concept applies to leads. Now everything is in a marketplace. People can go in and bid on these leads, and they get them at a set amount of cost at which they bid at, right? So if you bid leads at $50, you are the highest bidder, that lead goes to you. Now, as leads age, right, so think of it like they got generated, they're getting sold to buyer. It's like 5 seconds, or in one case where it's 5 minutes. Because it's 5 minutes, it's not as valuable anymore, because specifically leads also depreciate in value. It's not a real-time lead anymore, and you have a less of a chance to convert it into a customer, because the highest factor of converting a lead is how fast you reach them, right? Boom, leads get sent to you 2 seconds in, you call them and you close them. Whereas 5 minute in, okay, the chances are a bit more slimmer, but you still call them, maybe you still get them. But after 5 hours, that lead is gone. People scroll Instagram and have like brain rot. They don't have any attention span at all. And what I want you to understand is this is all very, very simple math, right? My brother, he's 10 years younger, and he's better than me at math. Okay, that's a bad example, but he could understand it, because he's Chinese. I suck at math. And specifically, more bidders have higher price. Now, specifically, the more bidders and buyers you get, the higher prices you have. And that's why HomeBuddy is printing, because they have a lot of buyers. And if you don't have buyers, price decays until it sells. Now, Four reinforcing assets make the marketplace super hard to replace: the brand and trust. If we go onto SEMrush, which is basically, we can tell how many people like search HomeBuddy on Chrome or Google and then look them up. That's an indication of how many people know them and trust them. And 2,000 buyers, right, is a lot. We're talking about 2,000 different companies in the United States that are spending hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in marketing spend in home improvement monthly. So 2,000 corporate giants is a lot. Low cost traffic, right? As you can see, they probably run 800 ads and generate these leads at around like 20, $10, and they have affiliates that they're buying from, right? They buy a lead at, for instance, $25. They're really cheap when it comes to that because they have so many affiliates. That's why they have power. For you guys who study business like economics, supply and demand, right? You guys know this stuff. And big ticket home projects make each lead worth far more. Now, specifically, why HomeBuddy was bought out by Quinn Street, which is also a pay per lead company listed on the NASDAQ for $150 million cash, is because they're in a growing segment, right? Home improvement is super valuable, and it's only growing across time. And that's what they spend. Like, they spend 30 to 60 billion a year on marketing, and it's a 500 to 600 billion dollar industry. So pay per lead, watch my vertical video, right? Then you'll also understand specifically in which vertical you have to go. And if you have any questions or need any personalized support to scale or transition smoothly, DM me on Telegram or Instagram. I'm like autistically extroverted. Now, specifically, paid ads build the brand, and the brand then brings free high intent traffic. Now, these traffic from SEO, organic, right? People searching it up on Google, that's free. And that's why they make a huge amount of margin as well. Now, they need like to pay for leads to get up to the scale, because obviously if you pay for leads $10, sell them for 30, you still make a lot of money, right? 8 to 1,000 meta ads, and we if we look at the meta ads, they're brain dead. Like,
Here's what changing the tub to
a five a fifth
a
grader can
walk-in
make it.
shower costs in 2026. Click below for local pricing.
It is like, it is actually brain dead. You can, like a fourth grader can do it, right? You can take a look. Like, what is this? But they work very well because, as we know, right? If you don't know media buying ads or anything, I got you. I got a bunch of videos on the channel. I'll make even more. High to low impressions, these ads got the most views, right? So they have the best performance. And this is one of the highest performing ads that was literally, it is ChatGPT basically, right? And so you can tell how, if you already know media buying, going into the pay per lead is a waste of your existing potential. But specifically, ads compound into brand, right? They've been running ads for 3 years, so that also compounds into consumer brand. And the free traffic that they get organically from SEO. They have really good SEO search engine, so people just like click on them. They Google some like roofing. How much does a roof cost? And the HomeBuddy pops up. And specifically, 190 million was actually quite cheap because they were growing really fast at a 10-20% rate. And they have this infrastructure that is not easily replicable. The founders did have, right? It's not like 4 years they built out to this company that sold at 150 million. No, they had 7 years prior pay per lead experience. But specifically, they didn't do retainers, right? They build up their knowledge in paper lead, and they were eventually able to exit as goats. And one of the guys, I checked him out on LinkedIn, he's literally spending like his like he's retired in Switzerland basically, probably with a supermodel as well. Now, if any of that was interesting, guys, I got a Telegram group, a school community that I'm building out, and I only let people in that actually want to learn this stuff. So it's a high level community. And if you have any questions, right, like I said, I don't have any more followers, so I'll actually pay attention to my followers because I love each and single one of you guys. No homo. So peace out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.